One more time. One more time.
Time more one.
One Piece, chapter 1186. We got a cover page this week. Not canon, but it might as well be canon. We see that Loki is drawing Ida.
But the animals look kind of cool. I like Fenrir. He looks fun. And the
Yeah.
snake.
Do you think Fenrir, or, the wolf back there, do you think he's still alive or do you think he's dead?
Oh no, the anime killed him, bro. I saw the clips in the anime. That shit's
I don't
dead,
know, man.
bro.
There's a chance he could still be around. I mean, it's One Piece. The mountain boar survived in Wano, cut in half. Oda could realistically say, hey, this wolf is still alive too.
Actually, you're right. Based off of Brook, they're all alive because a single stab through the skull doesn't do much. It just leaves you a scar nowadays. As long as Gunko. Oh, wait, actually, that's actually insane because it was Gunko who did that to Brook, who magically missed all the major arteries, or there's not really like just all the major structures in the brain to let Brook survive with all of his basic functions and executive functions too. And Gunko was the one who did this to all the animals through the brain. So maybe she dodged all the major structures just like she did in the past. Maybe that's her special skill.
Her special skill as a villain is to, like, not kill anybody.
Yeah, no, it's like perfect miss. That might be a crazy ability in an anime in the future. The perfect miss ability. The main character misses perfectly all the time, and it like gets exactly what he wants, but it's still a miss to every. No, that doesn't make
That
sense.
doesn't
Never
make
mind.
sense. I can
Yeah,
kind of see
yeah,
where you're
yeah.
going, but I don't know if that works the way you think it does.
Yeah, it doesn't. We have to rehash it. We have to go back to the drawing boards. But perfect miss sounds kind of cool.
It sounds cool, but I don't think it's an ability I would want.
Yeah, in a world of abilities that people don't want, that's a cool ability. If all the powers kind of sucked, you get what I'm saying? Like,
I see what you mean. It's like one of those things where it's like,
yeah,
hey, like, what useless ability would you want? And that's like one of them.
yeah,
Yeah, but I mean,
yeah,
generally, there's like
yeah,
some crazy ones. Like, I saw somebody do a list. They're like, oh, you can stop time, but only while you hold your breath. It's like, dude, the Goldo ability? That's amazing. Like,
yeah.
there's
That
some
one's
real, like,
crazy. You just
oh,
gotta.
like, you have super speed, but you can't see where you're going. It's like, dude, a lot of these abilities are still good. Perfect miss. Um, it depends how flexible it is, but either way, one thing we're not gonna miss out on is for that wolf to come back to the story, because again, he's probably just still alive. Dude, with all the drawings we have of that wolf and Loki with him as a kid, I mean, even the snake, the bear, the lion, yes, the animals got effed up. They're still probably gonna be around. No way.
Nah, nah. On Elbaf, you remember Gerd? She'd look at that thing. She's like, nah, this. Even if it was alive, it'd be like it takes like 50 years for this to recover.
Yeah, and then a regular doctor looks at it and says, "Oh, actually, 50 years, more like 5 days. I mean, just put a band-aid on it."
Yeah, five
Come on,
days.
Garrett.
Well, my thing is, I don't think Elbaf has a happy ending, period. So, like, I don't think we're gonna get that situation where everyone's rounded up and everyone's good at the end of Elbaf. I think
Really?
that it's, yeah, yeah, yeah. I put a video out on
Ooh.
that one.
You think Elbeth is gonna end horribly?
Ends in a tragedy, even. That is how I said
I
it.
wish. I
Yeah.
I hope, brother.
I think we're lining up for it, but it's like, I mean, the end of this chapter is like a little like, where do we go from there? But yeah, I think that we set up. I mean, the main reason why the Elbaf tragedy thing is because this is like the first arc where we had the banquet first. And so the banquet, like Oda said that he doesn't like to draw characters dying because then he can't draw a banquet. But since he had the banquet at the beginning of Elbaf with all the giants were present, and the Straw Hats were present too. There's one character who was missing, which was Scopper. But in general, all of Elbaf that's like relevant, I guess, was there. And Loki, he wasn't there, but because Oda did the banquet already, I feel like that he's gonna skip the banquet at the end because it's gonna be too sad to do a banquet. And we kind of already had a teaser of that where, like on Egghead, they had the banquet on the ship way to Elbaf, but at the start of it, they were too sad to really party because they thought Vegapunk died. And so like Luffy was like depressingly eating and everyone was kind of depressed until they found out that Vegapunk was alive, and then they had a true banquet. And then again, what I'm saying is that because when we land on Elbaf, they partied at the start, that might bode poorly
Yeah.
for the rest of the arc. But yeah.
Hey, I agree with you, man. I am on the boat as well that Elbaf shouldn't end happily, but I know people want Luffy to beat Emu here. I don't think it's gonna happen though. There's no way in my mind we beat Emu. Like, dude, we haven't met all of the God Knights yet. We've never beaten a villain before we've met all of their crew. It just hasn't happened. And of course, it's Emu we're talking about, right? We're talking about the final war guy, so I don't think he's gonna be done yet. I know people want Blackbeard to be the final villain. I agree with that for the most part, but I still think that Emu will be the main villain of the final war. And then after that, we scale down, and then we fight Blackbeard. I always use the example, people are sick of Naruto, but guys, it's the big three. Essentially, I see Emu as a Madara Kaguya character, and then afterwards, we fight Sasuke, which is Blackbeard. You know, the personalities don't match, but the gist of it is there. Grand final war, and then, hey, let's go fight at a river. So, that's kind of how I see it. So,
yeah, I could see that.
Now, going to a different war entirely, Esperia Okoku. We see that the Marines, the world government, they're still laying siege to the island. Some soldiers of Esperia say, hey, never give up. Our only path is independence. Then we cut over to Brook. I feel like that's filler. You know, now that I like read that, it's such a filler panel. Like, dude, those three panels of just random soldiers fighting. Nah, we gotta skip that. But either way, Brook, he it looks like he's being hypnotized, but that's just because he's so damn confused at the scene. But I get it, right? We have Saint Gro, Shuri with horns, Marcus Mars, and Emu is like on top of Marcus Mars. Kind of like the Saturn situation. Pretty funny.
It looks funny.
It looks absolutely hilarious, man. Which is a little bit unfortunate because our worst fears came true. We do not get to see what they wanted with King Leuven here. We do not get any flashback within this flashback. We're just going straight ahead with Brook's perspective, which does tell me that we're getting Shuri's perspective or Crow's perspective later. Like, something went down here, right? Emu, Marcus, Goro, they were talking to Leuven for a while. We need to see Leuven's final moments. I think this is one of the few times where we do not see, like, how he died or what he said before he died. Was there a smile there? Is he smiling? I don't know.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, we don't see his face. Yeah. At no point do we see Leuven's face at all. Maybe he's grinning.
He got the mom treatment. He got the mom treatment. Was their name Magnolia treatment?
Yeah, he got the Magnolia treatment. Dude, it's so funny. Magnolia's name isn't even in the story. That's just SPS material.
Yeah, it's like Bogart. Yeah. No, it's better than Bogart at least, but
yeah, slightly better than Bogart. It's like the Hanafuda treatment. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because in the anime and manga, it's like, like Ace beat a warlord. Who's the warlord, Oda? Hanafuda.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure.
But Hanafuda had a dope design, to be fair, so that's kind of...
Out of all of the warlords, though, where does Hanafuda rank in terms of design? I think he's near the bottom.
Really?
He's
I don't
not
remember
bad,
him, like...
But we're comparing him to monsters like Gecko Moria, Buggy, Blackbeard, Boa Hancock, Kuma, Jimbei. Like,
yeah, that's true.
Hanafuda's not awful. It's just I don't think he's like top 5.
Yeah, the warlords kind of got it on lock. Kuma's in there too. I liked Kuma.
Mihawk's there.
When Kuma first showed up on Thriller Bark, it was like, God damn, this guy's spooky. And making people disappear, that was crazy. I don't know if you could have that kind of aura the way Gecko and Kuma showed up like that. Crocodile even. Damn,
Yeah, I
you're
mean,
right. You're right.
here's the thing too.
It's hard.
This is gonna sound crazy. When I was a kid, like enjoying One Piece for the first time, I actually drew Kuma as my first character. First ever character I like
Ooh,
picked up a sketch pad and just drew his ass. And it was because I thought he was
that's.
so cool when he destroyed the Straw Hats. I was so happy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought that was cool, but really, when he did the Perona thing, I was like, oh my god,
Yeah, I
that's
mean the aura,
insane.
dude. I mean, I just had to like
Yeah,
pick up a pen and paper and hey, the drawing was good too, but then again I traced it, so it is what it
yeah.
is.
To be like, Kuma didn't lose that aura necessarily. It's just that like the story kind of changed. I mean, he could still technically do that to a bunch of people, and like be terrifying. It's just the story isn't allowing it so
Yeah,
much.
he's just a
So,
nice
like,
guy now.
imagine he went up to Meridra when he was climbing up, and he just poofed some of the Celestials to random islands. That would be kind of crazy.
Should have been. I mean, there's so many things I wish Kuma did, but hey, I still think Kuma's gonna come back one day. Like it's like the wolf thing, man. Like the wolf is alive, Kuma's alive. Like Oda opened up the avenue for Kuma to come back in.
Yeah, I'm waiting for him to show up with his. Do you want to go? Where do you want to go on vacation, brother? And then just
Ooh,
whoosh.
you know, be so crazy.
What?
Imagine this entire time Vegapunk has been working on Kuma during this battle, and then out of nowhere, Emu's fighting Luffy and Loki, and then just cliffhanger. There's a fully blacked out panel with just a single text box. End of chapter, break next week. Where would you like to go on vacation? And then Emu
Yeah,
like
that'd be kind
just
of
like
crazy.
looks behind him, and that's how he gets out of Hellbath. Just Kuma teleports him.
Yeah, I mean, hey, the ending of this chapter is a Sabaody like callback. So if we were to continue that, it wouldn't be crazy.
Somebody said that too. That's crazy. I didn't pick up on that one. People saying that yeah, because he got punched like St. Charlos, that is accompanied by the Straw Hats losing, and it's like, ooh, that's a really good point. I had no clue. I didn't go down
Hmm.
that route.
Yeah, I like the Sabaody take as well because of Scopper Rayleigh's presence as well. But the punch adds to it, the losing adds to it. There's just so much that feels similar that's lining up, you know.
Hey,
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 and
hey.
we're looking at a certain loss right now too.
Don't get my hopes up, dude. I want the Straw Hats to lose because I feel like whenever they lose, it's accompanied by major growth. Like Sabaody, I
Yeah.
loved Kuma, Kizaru, and all of them beating the Straw Hats because up until that point, we've been winning every single time, and it's like, yeah, I kind of wish we just like got separated, you know, spend some time growing our characters, having them get stronger, yada yada. And I really want that to happen here in Elbaf, but I don't know what
Yeah.
Oda's doing, man. So we'll see, we'll see. I hope, I hope.
Yeah. I think it's a perfect time
It is such a
to
good time.
like it's like everything's built up kind of the same way as pre-time skip where it's like each character recognizes like this wall that they like can't supersede, and it's like a terrifying wall, and they're just coasting along because Luffy's gear 5, kind of like in Thriller Bark. Like they coasted along but they had no idea what gear 2 and gear 3 were doing to Luffy, and he just like spammed it, and then boom, you get the Saboti and you realize that they were too weak. That's kind of like where we're at right now. It's like without we were saying that so many times that like God Knights versus Elbaf, well, it's scary until Luffy shows up. And that's kind of what it is, where it's like, well, Luffy can't be in all the places all at once at the same time. And then same thing with Sanji and Zoro. They're like right there to be like scopper scary. But they were, you know, when we were talking about the God Knights and Sanji and Zoro, we were like, we feel like Sanji and Zoro would win, like things would get cleared up too, because they were also not in the picture at the time either. But the thing that I locked in on was the Scopper part. I was like, I'm pretty sure Scopper handles this, and then Scopper does. And there's a gap between where Scopper is and Sanji and Zoro, and they have to close that gap. And so now them seeing that gap and like understanding, well, they didn't like see it per se, but like they understand it. Like Zoro saw it, you know, fighting Scopper. That hey, there's this old guy who is part of the Roger pirate crew. We have to like level up to that, you know, to make make do with the path ahead of us. And so the path came to them with in the shape of emu, and they got kicked and blown up and shot or whatever Zoro happened to Zoro. So we'll see. We'll see what they get out of this, because honestly, one of the things we were talking about in the prediction video, or at least I was bringing up, was that if this flashback was for just the Shuri situation, which it ended up ultimately being, then Shuri ends up being like a huge, like vast vat of information that we can like probe. I don't know how or in what capacity, but it seems like the pieces are coming together.
Yeah, no, I agree. One big thing too, or at least one oddity as to why I don't know if we're winning or losing, is because of like the God Knight fights. Like,
Hmm.
when it comes to like Summers versus Zoro, Sanji versus Killingham, I feel like we're gonna win those. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, that's why it's like you talked about, like, yeah, the struts are gonna hit a wall. The wall is Emu, but we also have like soft parts of the wall that we are just gonna blow through, perhaps. And it's like,
Yeah.
I hope not. Again, I deep down in my heart, I want the God Knights to win. I want Emu to win. I want us to grow. But it's like I just don't know if this is it. We'll see.
Yeah,
I'm
the
looking
God
forward
Knights are
to
in
it.
such a weird spot.
Yeah,
And
I mean
even
the
in this
Moxie buff has to be
chapter,
broken, dude.
yeah. Yeah, even in this chapter, like Guro didn't demonstrate anything, He just yapped.
He
But
aura farmed.
yeah, a little bit. It is a little bit of that. He got up and walked away, but other than I think like the strongest line he had besides the eyes part was the Candel Squire thing, which, we don't know what to grasp from that, but you know, grow maybe he'll grow on us and show up
If he's
in the story
alive.
again.
People are saying he might just
Yeah,
be
if
dead, dude.
which is such an that's like so awkward for a character. I mean, like
They
we didn't
come
see him
in
at
and they
God
die right
Valley.
away. Yeah.
Yeah, or like a character that like didn't there's no like couldn't Oda show us a relevant Holy Knight in this backstory? You know what I mean? Like it's possible, especially if it wasn't going to reveal anything about that character. But I don't know. I'm like in between on the whole, is this character relevant or not? Because like he did hide his stuff. So it's like, he could save it for later. I don't know. It would make sense if Brook had a comeback against Grow, but don't
Yeah.
know.
I hope he's alive just for the final Brook fight. The only reason we would kill Gro is if somebody takes over Gro's position or if we see how he dies, which I don't know if that's going to be the case. But I mean, he wasn't at God
Yeah.
Valley. But then again, two-man Myers already were. So that's my cope for why he wasn't there. Like, oh, like I don't participate in games. That's for children. I'm staying home with my slaves.
Yeah. I have an idea that comes up a little bit later in the chapter, but yeah, Grow. I wonder. I wonder what Oda's doing. It feels like the Yeti again, just like I'm waiting for some random hairy monster. But
Yeah, maybe he is the Yeti. We don't know.
yeah, he could. He's the same shape, probably size too.
Yeah, the eyes don't match though, because the Yeti he had normal eyes, but then again, transformation. So
Yeah, the Yeti had normal eyes is just a funny sentence.
well, yeah, compared to Grove, man. But getting back to it, Emu and Mars they disappear, or at least they retreat a little bit. They fade into the background, and we see that Shuri tells Brook that that guy is dead. Leuven is gone. Then Brook just ignores her, and then he turns his attention to Grow in the background and is like, "Hey, what did you do? Shuri would never say or do any of this." And then Shuri cuts back in, and she tells Brook that she is a celestial dragon, and that guy on the ground is not her real dad. And then Brook just essentially goes down One Piece's core thematic, saying, "Hey, it doesn't matter if that's not your dad. He is your dad. What are you talking about?" I love that, like, we always get this. Like, I feel like once per arc, somebody has to bring up, like, the parental relationship thing. It's Oda's bread
Yeah.
and butter, man. She tells him that Leuven lied to the people of Esperia. They didn't want 1,000 slaves. No, no, no. In fact, they actually just wanted Shuri, but Leuven didn't want to give her up. And I don't know, man. I mean, I side with Leuven here. I get it. That's his daughter. I mean, of course, not like blood daughter, but that's his daughter. And not just that,
Yeah.
but when you really think about it, do you want to hand Emu somebody he wants? He wants to awaken Shuri's eyes. He wants her for the eyes. We don't know what the eyes do. There's a chance that by handing Shuri over, you're dooming a lot of people down the road too, if you think about it like that. We don't know what these eyes, man.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the eyes are an interesting predicament because it's like, well, for Grow, for example, the whole him dying or being relevant later on, I was thinking like, oh, well, maybe Emu's satisfied. Like Emu showing up to Esperia, I like at this point, because they said that they literally came here just for this girl. It sounds like Emu came to just verify the eyes. And other than that, I don't see why we don't necessarily know if Emu can take over other God Knights. We know with this the Gorosei they can, but so Mars literally shows up just so Emu can, I guess, see the situation. And like with Garo, if the whole eyes are desirable, then maybe it's something that Emu just replaced Grow with Shuri because now there's someone else with those eyes, so he doesn't need Grow anymore. And it could be that they just wipe them away because it's not necessary. But I find that weird because I would think that like if Grow exists and has those eyes and those are the traits you want, my mission to him is just go and procreate with anything and everything that moves. Just go.
Yeah.
And like,
please, Garo, dump your seed everywhere, man.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, because you can't do that with Shuri. You can't tell her to just have infinite babies. You end up with Big Mom. But with the dude, you can do that. And I'm not saying that, people do that, but that is like a thing. And so, with Garo, I'm surprised that they even like the whole situation, 16 years they waited to get her. And it's like, why did you wait? And then like, couldn't you have just done this earlier? Like, 16 years is a crazy amount of time to just wait for the eyes. But I'm assuming it has to do with like, oh, Shuri had a reputation like when she was getting married, or like not married, had suitors, and like her visuals became widely known. And so the dual eyes probably became relevant to the Holy Land. But yeah, if I was Garo and I spilled my seed somewhere, I'd be keeping tabs. Like he says, I don't usually come to backwater countries like this. And it's like, well, you did. You did 16 years or whatever years ago. And you spilled your seed. You couldn't have checked. I don't know, a year later, like Garling did. At this point, Gro's making Garling sound like the proper dad. At least he went back to check 2 years
okay,
later.
He didn't go back to check per se. It was more so he went back for like, I don't know, a pool party.
Yeah, that's what we'll call it, a pool party. But
it's like you're going to a cookout and like your baby mama's house is like right next door, so you just say hello. Like that's what Garling did. He had no other reason to go to God Valley. I mean, he didn't even know he had kids.
Well, he did choose. He did choose God Valley, and we don't know his like knowledge of the kids part, but even that makes it interesting too, because it's like, why did he have kids and how come they were inducted into the thing? Shuri seems special, right? Shuri has the eyes, but what did Shamrocks and Shanks have that allowed them to just make their way into it, even though they're half breed? We still don't know, like
they just had aura.
Like, yeah, I guess so. I mean, hey, Kid Shanks did have aura. He'd use substitution jutsu, so maybe there's something there with that. But as far as the King of Leuven's decision, the 1,000 slaves versus the daughter lying, whatever. I would argue also that the kingdom might not have wanted to give up Shuri. It was described in that last chapter that Shuri was like the new dawn of Esperia once the like Candel was sick and then came back, and then Leuven became king, Candel became queen, and then Shuri was born, and everybody was up in arms, like as if Shuri was their kid. Like, so it's kind of one of those things that, like, even though she's saying this, like, we have to keep in mind that she's Dami Reversied. Like, a lot of the things she's saying, it's like, it's not necessarily, Yeah, and possibly stretched, exaggerated. It's like the Jarl Brogy situation. It's like, do people don't even the King Jarl one was really weird. Like, who's the king of this land? Let's go kill Jarl, and it's like, wait, what? He's has nothing to do
Hey,
with
hey, hey!
this.
Emu told Dorian Broggie to do that. It wasn't like
Yeah,
a,
yeah,
hey, who's the king? It's your rule. No. Emu's the one who said, hey,
yeah.
go kill that guy.
But they were like, we don't need gods of Elbaf, we don't need kings, and then they were gonna take Jarl's. They were self-convinced to take Jarl's head, and that's what they felt shame about. They were like, I can't believe we're about to take our like respected, like this respected guy's head and stuff like that. So it's like we don't necessarily know what Damian does to somebody, but it's very obvious that, like, for example, her not referring to her dad as like her daddy or father, that's the emphasis point of the last two chapters. Father, daddy, or daddy, and then Leuven is like, don't call me that, call me father, like properly. And that was emphasized in both chapters. And so now she's calling him like the wretched this wretch. That was because this wretch refused to. Okay, I guess it sounds okay, but just like that guy, according to TCB, calling him that over and over again. We know that like Shuri's not in the right state of mind. It's just enough though that like Brook is like confused. He's just like, this sounds like Shuri, but it's not sounding like Shuri. So, but like you were saying, the decision is fine because like one demand, it's like, if the first demand is your daughter, then what's the next demand? That's always
Yeah, and
the
like you said, I
situation.
mean, Esperia probably wouldn't have given Shuri over either. Especially Brook, right? I think Brook would have made the exact same decision that Leuven made.
Yeah, yeah,
So it just be like that sometimes,
possibly.
man. Rocking a hard place. So we go down and we see that Grow actually cuts into the conversation. He's like, guys, like that's y'all are yapping. Let me cut in. I know this guy. I recognize this dude. There was a boy with poofy hair as Candel's squire. So, he's recalling his time back here in Esperia, which pretty much confirms that this is Shuri's real dad, and we do see the eyes. And he says, you were never allowed to get close to me. Brook falls down, he backs up because he sees the eyes, and he, finally puts two and two together. And then he talks about Gunko's eyes, the bipolar irises. They're extremely rare, and the Great One desires her. And he says that for him, they didn't awaken, but maybe she can. And it's like, okay, that's it's odd, right? Like, so right now, the design of his eyes and her eyes, they're identical. So when he says they haven't awakened, do you think it's more so like there's a tier 2 after that eye? Or do you think Goro means that his eyes are fake? Like maybe he stole the eyes.
I think that there's a tier 2. Um, it sounds, even with this translation, it's like, well, it may not have awakened for me, but he has the eyes.
Yeah.
So it sounds like there's like another step to it, or some kind of ability that comes afterwards, like that he just never got. But and then he believes that maybe she can, which is an odd predicament, but that's where Emu steps in. Thou speakest too much, which I thought was interesting. But yeah, I have no clue what even the tier 2 would be at that point, because I don't know if we have like a great like template to follow for this.
We really don't. I mean, like, eye powers, they're not common in One Piece. Like, all we have is pudding, and we don't even know what pudding looks like. All we know is that she can read and understand poneglyphs, but it's like, okay, that's it. We need something a little bit more to really, like, draw a baseline for it. Like, right now, there is no high or low end. Like, we could say, oh, like, it's something as simple as she can read poneglyphs too. But maybe on the higher end,
Mm-hmm.
it does give her like an actual legitimate combative ability. Like, oh, she has permanent future sight. She can always see into the future. Or perhaps,
Yeah.
one theory I enjoy, I saw this in the comment section of one of the videos out there. Someone said that maybe the eyes allow her to read the grimoire that Emu has. Or
Mm.
it could be like Aizawa out of MHA. She looks at somebody and then it negates their devil fruits. Like, it's, I don't know. The eyes, it can do so much if I would have wanted it to.
Yeah. And the only thing that we kind of have a grasp for is unlike the other Holy Knights, Shuri was given like that, like longevity, like as opposed to Sommers, who we saw age from God Valley. And the other aspect is Shuri was given the role as like a handmaiden for Emu. So like there's Shuri was always a special version of a God Knight, even as a devoted blade of God. But the we even off of those details, you can't really figure out too much on like what it could mean. So you know, I don't know, like how would she awaken the eyes as a handmaiden? I don't know what Emu's logic is there, but um it's not like she's opposed to going on missions either, though. She went with Shamrock to Elbaf, so it's not like she's protected per se either. But maybe that could also lend itself to like when she goes out, she needs to be accompanied or something, just to be protected. But we
Yeah, they don't
can't
want to
really
lose
say
her.
that either. Yeah, but then you ejected Shamrocks, replaced him with two other Holy Knights, and she was kind of the. It felt like she was the lead a little bit, but also again, it wasn't really. It's not really a strong detail that you can pick apart and figure out. Hey, does these eyes they lead to future sight, and one of our eyes will always see the future, while the other ones always see the present, and it's like that's not even a great power if we're being honest. Like, it's kind of
Yeah.
it has its shortcomings, but yeah. And I don't know why Emo would want it either, like in Shuri.
Just collection.
Yeah, I don't know if it's collection or if Emu's like trying to create something. Because like for example, when Vegapunk goes, I created the strongest form of humanity, and that was the Seraphims. The Seraphims also have special eyes. They have like the double layered eyes, but they're stars. So it's like, did Vegapunk find those eyes? Like, are those eyes like does Doflamingo have those eyes and we just don't know? And like, are those eyes really? I mean, if Doflamingo had those eyes and then he was pushed away from the Holy Land, then I don't know what the point of the whole thing is. Like, did the sunglasses really save his life? Like, is that what it is? Did Homing like know that, oh my god, he has the eyes, he has to wear sunglasses as a kid and all the way through adulthood, otherwise Emu's gonna see his eyes and then want him? I don't know,
For
but
Doflamingo, we still have that
that
one thing where it's like we potentially already saw his eyes too.
yeah, we talked about it before. I think it was the like the way it zoomed out. It was like rioters' eyes, and then it transitioned into Doflamingo's things. And I think you looked at the anime for it, but I forget the conversation. I
Yeah.
know what panel you're talking about.
Yeah, the anime kind of
Um,
leaned towards it being Doflamingo's eyes.
yeah, yeah, but it was an interesting thing because we zoomed out and he was like not he was wearing his sun. I forget, but I remember the panel. It was like 772 or something like that. Um, yeah, yeah. So the eyes, they're a real conundrum. I don't even know when we'll figure out that stuff. Because like, is this something that you tell Shuri about? Because then immediately we'll figure it out. Like, oh, Brook, they wanted me because my eyes can see the future. And it's like, oh, okay, thanks. Like, great, we solved that one. But I don't think it's gonna be that easy. It's weird. It is a weird thing. Because if you wanted someone to awaken the power, you kind of would make them aware of it, no? You know?
Yeah, I mean, I bet Gunko knows for the most part. I bet she knows what her eye powers can
Yeah.
do.
Yeah, yeah, I'd hope so. It's like pudding new to an
Yeah, I
extent,
mean,
right?
this is like what day one of her being with Emu and the God Knights, and she already knows her eyes are special now and that they can awaken.
Yeah,
I'm sure within 70 years, Emu's like, hey, Shuri, one day you'll be able to do this.
yeah, yeah. One day you'll be able to wield the magic like I do.
Yeah, maybe. Oh, maybe it's like one of Emu's traits, like maybe like a clan that was erased a long time ago.
Yeah, but if it was Emu's traits, then Emu should be doing the procreation, you know?
True. Well, and then Emu has like double ringed eyes too, so it wouldn't really
Yeah.
work for him.
At least from what we can see. And then, that brings up like Mihawk and like where he comes from, but you know,
Yeah, like how far will Oda go with the eye powers? Like is
yeah.
Mihawk and Caribou and Cavendish and all them, are they gonna get brought back in? Or is this one of those things where it's like, no, no, only Shuri's eyes? And like you said earlier, the Seraphim. Like, are those special or is it just like Vegapunk flair?
Yeah.
So we see that Gro, because he talked too much, he is being called back by Emu. He starts walking away, and then he orders Shuri to finish the job. She goes in and she stabs Brook through the head with his own attack. And then Brook starts singing about frogs and kings again. He can't stop. He loves music, man. Even in his final moments, he wants to go out with the bang.
Yeah. You could say one more time.
Yeah, one thing this brings up is the Candle situation. What do you think went down there? Because that is a big talking point. Like the whole, hey, did Candle get assaulted, or was it more so like Candle was a willing participant?
Well, I know what went down there, but I don't know what went up here, which, it sounds I really like the detail that you brought up on stream, which was that Grow referred to Candle by her name as like it's kind of interesting that he would do that when no other name from him was like spoken. Um, but like I think you said that he even called Shuri that brat or something like that.
He calls Shuri in Viz a single measly whelp.
Yeah, yeah. And versus Candel, it's like even if you were to put this into full context, it's very odd because Candel died uh not too long ago, right? To be fair, she died like 2 years ago. But the last time he saw her was over 16 years ago. A God Knight remembering a random person's name for 16 plus years, that's kind of interesting. I don't think that there's a lot more evidence outside of that, like concrete evidence to say
Yeah.
Candel's evil per se. But that detail alone is kind of like, wait, why would he remember her name? It's wife number 17 for these guys, right? Like it's just random girl that was hot that was in some backwater nation. He didn't even remember the nation's name. He's just a backwater nation. But Candel's name he remembered. So like that kind of sounds like Candel maybe had in internal does like it wasn't like assault. And like one thing that I was thinking about was flipping the theory. I remember when we first talked about Candel being evil, it was the idea that she was secretly a man mare, and the reason why it connected was she was at the opera house when we first met her, and in the live action Oda made it so that the opera house at Logtown was owned by the man mare. So like it kind of tied where it's like, oh, maybe he's making Candela man mare because he shows her at the opera house. She loves opera. Man mares are associated with the opera house. But maybe it's a little bit different than that. Maybe this guy had sway because he is a man mare. And if Candel appreciated opera, she might have known who the man mares were. Because if the man mare, family pans out and it's in charge of the world's opera houses, then it would be something that Candel might have been like, oh my God, this is a man mare person. This is the opera. I love opera. I love this guy. We don't, maybe this guy can sing. Maybe this guy is one of the, like a world famous opera singer or something. We don't know.
That'd be
But
so
the
crazy.
idea that him being a man mare and that being something that Candel desired because she loved opera, it's not that crazy to me. And maybe that's why there's a positive relationship rather than the alternative where he shows up, he takes advantage of her, which is, like that one's straightforward too. It's just this name thing really, once you mentioned it, it started eating away at me. I was like, oh no, that is kind of crazy. I'm really
Yeah.
terrible with names, let alone 16 years later. remembering someone's name, that might be different.
Between that and the timing of it all, it feels like Kendall's alive. I still believe that Kendall is around. I mean, the whole thing about like Shuri, right? They waited 15, 16 years to get her, and the world government only contacted Esperia after Kendall died. You know, something went down there. And I think we will see that flashback, even if Kendall isn't evil, right? Even if she's dead, I think we're still going to get that POV because there's just so much weird mystery around it.
I think the other odd thing that I brought up on stream was if they were going to reveal that she was a celestial dragon and like to Shuri and tell her the truth about King Leuven, then I would imagine that the truth about Candel would have been told as well. Like, oh, Candel was like a secret, like she was always a part of the world government. Oh, I knew Candel. Candel was actually my wife first, or something like that. Like something in line with Candel. Either it would have made sense to have told her here, or we find out about that later. That like Shuri goes like Candel's not dead, right? That's how we'd find out about it.
Yeah.
But if she's not dead, then I think we kind of like as soon as Shuri's a lot like
Sort of the
able
first thing she
to,
tells us.
yeah, it kind of has to be. I don't think it could be one of those things that we just like wait on. You know what I mean? Like in terms of telling Brook, like it would be really odd if it was a later down the line reveal, unless Shuri just didn't know that Candel was alive this whole time either. But if she knows, then she the first moment is like, Brook, you won't believe this. Kendall never died. And then Brook's like, everything I knew is a lie, you know, like, and then we wrap up that whole not miscommunication, but like misremembering everything and hiding away his past because he couldn't believe everything. It fully unravel very quickly rather than something we reveal much down like an arc later that like, oh, by the way, Brook, my mom, she was actually just masquerading the entire time. Like that would be so weird. So I like the theory. The only problem is like it feels like anti One Piece a little bit in the sense that like, is Oda really gonna show us that revealed so soon? But it would make sense. It wouldn't make sense otherwise. So I like the idea. I like the idea, and I believe in it. It's just there's some little bit odd stuff happening that it could just be that we walk away from it. It's so important almost that it feel odd if Oda did it in SBS. You know what I mean? Like
Oh,
he
the
couldn't
Kendall
reveal
stuff.
this in SBS. Yeah, he couldn't do that to us. He would have to do
Oh
it in the
no.
story, I feel like.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
funny because like, you know, I feel like when talking about the Candel stuff, and even like when Bonnie was a big plot point back in the day, people hate sexual assault, dude. And I get it. It's dastardly in real life, but I feel like in an anime dash manga, I feel like we can go into it, man. But because like back in the day, people were like, oh, well, we're never gonna see like, you know, Bonnie's biological father. I still think we will. And they're like, oh,
Oh yeah,
like
we will.
the Kendall situation, if it's true, then, you know, we're never gonna see the guy, or ooh, like we shouldn't like get into it. And it's like, I don't know, man. I mean, it's very plot relevant. I mean, this is One Piece. I feel like we gotta like rip off the band-aid eventually. Like we can't just like leave this up in the air. So I do think
Yeah.
whether it's assault, whether it's willing participant, we gotta see the grow situation 100%.
Hmm. And I mean, it's also kind of like historical too, right? Like the powerful would just run through, like if they were had to travel somewhere, they would go through and then like a bunch of backwater nations, and then they would flex their power if they were more powerful. If the king of, I don't know, Sweden or something went through into a random village and saw a hot chick, that's what would happen. And it's like it wouldn't be a wedding. It would just be, you know, leisure time being spent. I'm not saying the King of Sweden did that kind of stuff. I'm not historically tying it to anybody, but I'm like, that's a thing. Like it's, I don't, you could probably name a king. Someone in the comments name a king right now that did that. I'm sure you can. Within 5 minutes of Googling it, you could probably figure it out. But, you know, the Knights of God kind of have that swagger. So they have the full, all they have to do is saying like, yeah, we're the knights of God of the world government, and then automatically they're treated as if they are like the Gorosei. So
Yeah.
um and we saw that with Charlos too. Charlos showed up as a regular celestial dragon on Sabaody. Everyone had to bow, and then the first person that he thought was attractive became like wife number 7, and that was it. And he killed the husband, and that's something that used to happen when we had might is right rules, you know. So this is a very, you know, it's gonna be like in a Blackbeard world too, right? Where Blackbeard's like it's lawless, but power excels. In Kaido's world, that's what would happen, 100%. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see some more of that, and some like Romeo Juliet type stuff too, where it's like, you know, star-crossed lovers, you know, where it was like forced to be the opposite, where people were forced to be. I mean, we kind of already saw that a little bit with the Vinsmoke stuff, so it's definitely gonna come up soon.
There's a good chance that Kendall just wanted to get with this guy. We don't know for sure. I mean, like going back to Magnolia, right? Magnolia actually really liked Garling.
From what we could see.
Yeah, she was happy to see him. And then Garling obviously betrayed her by stabbing her. So, yeah, like these God Knights,
Yeah.
like they don't even have to, I'm assuming they don't even have to like demand sex. Some of them, I bet, are actually
Yeah.
just those guys, man. It is what it is.
Yeah. I mean, Garling, he looks like Shanks just with goofy hair. So
Yeah, Shanks with goofy hair. And in the world of One Piece, is it even that goofy?
yeah, is it even that goofy? One of those things that I think we'll find out. It's just it's gonna be hidden behind the story a little bit, just like it was. And the thing is, Oda made it vague, so maybe he pivots the story too. Maybe he uses it to pivot a little bit, but um, you know, it's very plausible.
Yeah. I remember last chapter when we were talking about Shuri not being Leuven's daughter. Dude, you wouldn't believe the amount of pushback there was on that.
Really?
Dude,
Wow.
yeah. There's a so I held a poll about 6,000 votes and people were like 50-50 on it. I'm looking at it right now. 47% believe that Leuven is like the real dad, while 53% believed no, he's not the dad. So only 53% of people believed in the man mayor thing. And the top comments were so funny because it was like, oh, like everybody's brain broken by the Kuma Jinny flashback. It's weird how people just want more Celestial Dragon assault in the story. Like, no way Oda would do this ever again. Well, first up,
Right.
you know, obviously we don't know if it's assault or not, but also second up, it's like it happened, dude. It's a thing. Your worst nightmares come true, buddy. I thought it was just hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, again, this is the role of the powerful in the story. They're greedy. They're greedy. They take everything, and everything means people too. And that is the unfortunate thing, which is why, you know, like you can't have bodily autonomy if you allow this kind of greed to take loose, because might is right is just gonna let like some random dude take your wife, and then boom, that's it. But to that note too, like even the way that was written in the last chapter, it was so odd. Like we never like we don't skip timelines like that, but they was just like bedridden for months, king, queen, she's born. It's like, wait, what, where, you know, like it kind of, it was really in your face once you just like I had to do a reread, and I was like, oh no, yeah, this like definitely checks out as kind of odd.
Yeah, and if
um
something is odd, there's usually something there. Like where there's smoke, there's fire.
yeah, and the other part of it too is just that like um even if you were to take a step back, like it kind of doesn't matter if she was queen or not. Realistically, like they call this a backwater nation, even though it used to be world government affiliated. Like Leuven's solution, it wouldn't have solved it per se. So it's a question of like what, like Candel is such an interesting character. 16 years in that place, and what like if for example, if Grow showed back up, would Kendall just leave Leuven for Grow? Like that's kind of where you extend the question of like where Kendall realistically would be at. from what we saw, she seemed like she cared about Shuri and Leuven. So it's it's very weird. I would like it for it to be slated out. Hey, she's dead or alive, and other than that, like, was it actually, was she consenting or not? And that's kind of that's kind of it. But yeah, I kind of get what people with the whole like Ginny thing, like not being fatigued by it, but like, is it the same thing? Are we seeing the same stuff? Well, it's vague. It's super vague. In the Ginny situation, it's obvious. There's a kid who comes out and there's no Kuma with her for the last 2 years. So
And she was
that one's
abducted.
obvious.
Yeah, I saw people saying like, "Oh, like everybody, we don't need the Grow Candle thing to be explained. It's right in our faces." And it's like, well, no, it's not. You're just, for lack of a better word,
Oh my god.
this needs to be tackled. Like, we got to know what happened.
Yeah. And I think, like, whether the whole of it gets tackled or not, but like, if she's alive, that tells us a lot. That tells us
Yeah,
a
if she's
decent
alive, then
amount
obviously we know that she's evil and she planned it all out. But
but if she's dead, then we still have
then we still have
there's
questions.
there's a gray area there of what really went down. But if she was alive, it's like, oh, then she just chose. The main reason why it would be different than like the Charlo situation where the wife gets taken away on like without her power is the whole fog fake death thing. You know what I mean? She had plenty of time to like tell the truth to the people around her, or like show true colors or something like that. So I think the fog situation that kind of changes the dynamic a little bit. Hey, maybe I'm an idiot, guys. I want it written out in the story.
Yeah, no, I say
know.
when somebody says that, don't take it seriously.
Yeah. It'd be like, I don't know. It's kind of the same thing of like someone telling me they know exactly what the eyes can do. It's obvious. And I'm like, I don't think it's obvious. And I'm just going to let you be in that corner of,
Yeah, I mean, that's
thinking
the
that it
thing, right?
is.
We have our preferences on what we want to be true and not. We have our theories, but
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's always good to keep all roads open. Like for Candel, she could be evil. She could be good. We don't know.
Yeah.
That's the truth of it. There's nothing that's been confirmed yet. And it's always crazy to me whenever like somebody says shit like that in the world of One Piece. It's like, dude, you've read
The same length.
1,200 chapters, the same length. You sat there, you read all these chapters, you watched the episodes, and you're telling me you can't believe that there's a possibility Candel is evil? No effing way, you're
Yeah.
real. Like, dude, the craziest things happen in One Piece. Anything's possible until Oda like
That's why we
really
read it.
just cuts off that storyline and says, nope, that's not the case. Here's an SBS explaining what happened. Until Oda explains it, Oda can do whatever he wants with it. Like, it is possible.
Yeah. And in this like genre of topic that we're talking about, there's times where Oda, like with Viola, where he deemed it not necessary for the story to explicitly say it, but then in the SBS he explicitly told us like basically just said like, yeah, Viola had like, adult time with Doflamingo, essentially is what it said.
Yeah.
And it's like he put the slight nuance in the story, but it wasn't relevant because it's Viola and Doflamingo on
But I
like
mean,
the
then
back
again,
heels of a Luffy fight.
it's Viola. I mean, who wouldn't?
Oh. Yeah, and with the with the Candel situation, it's kind of like Oda was setting up to be this beautiful blossom, and what do the powerful do? They pick the flowers, and so is it unreasonable to think that that's the case? Well, there's that, but then there's also the vagueness that Oda put. I would argue that the Viola situation, it was more prevalent that like that's probably what happened in the story. It's just not necessary. With
Yeah.
Candel, it's a little bit more.
For Candel, it's a
little bit
lot more
more.
necessary because of the odd death and
Yeah.
plus the Shuri stuff. So
Yeah.
it's there. And then also the Dawn sound effect, dude. We can't forget the Dawn sound effect. I feel like for me, that's like the smoking gun.
True.
For a lot of people, it's not. They're, people look at that and they're like,
Yeah.
oh, it's nothing. But I think the special Dawn sound effect is like, for me, just nails in a coffin for it. Like, that is why I believe in that theory more than other ones.
This entire conversation about Candel, I'm not gonna lie, I forgot about the Dawn sound effect. But you add that, and it's like, bro, like I don't know what Oda was cooking. I'm sorry, guys, but like that is a crazy
Again,
detail.
all
It's not a small
1200
detail.
chapters. 1200 chapters. You're telling me the only person that has that sound effect is her and Mihawk? And even in this chapter, Gro has the Dawn sound effect. It's normal.
Mhm.
Gro, it's normal. Like I don't know, man.
Yeah.
That's a funny pull.
Yeah, yeah. There's something odd. There's something odd there. Sorry, guys, we like picking at the scab, but like it's a fresh wound.
And it's a sensitive wound too. I've seen people saying stop talking about Candel because she's a victim, and it's like, dude, we don't know. We don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
No, you brought up to the Candel being referenced by name by Gro 16, 17 years later after the fact, when he can't even name the nation, when he can't even call Shuri by her name. That's a
and the
great
sickness.
detail.
People are saying that the
The Dawn.
sickness shows that she was assaulted, but it's like, I mean, it could just be pregnancy sickness, or she's trying
It
to
was
hide
off
the
screens.
pregnancy. Like, it doesn't have to be like,
Yeah,
oh, she was assaulted, so now she's bedridden for months. Like, nah,
yeah.
Candel is a strong woman. I don't think that would be the case.
Not strong enough for Fog, but strong enough.
Yeah, I think
Strong
she was
enough.
trying to hide the pregnancy more so than anything. And plus, pregnancy sickness is a thing, so it's like
Yeah.
her
The
her
Fog
getting
is
pregnant and just like laying in bed for like a month. That's not super insane.
yeah. And I just wanna like dying to the Fog. I don't want to be disrespectful, but and I'm not gonna put it up there with like Kuina dying to stairs.
No, it's like Kuina dying to
But
stairs.
no, but the Fog was like actually corrosive.
Yeah,
Okay,
but
so
here's
it's
the
not.
thing:
It's like if the
Candel is
stairs
probably
had
the
spikes.
strongest person in Esperia. I have Candel over Brook. I mean,
No, yeah, yeah, yeah. No, but what I'm saying is like the way I would make it equivalent if the stairs were had spikes on them, or there were those really annoying stairs that don't have backings and you could just fall through.
oh, I hate
Like
those.
I hate
Oh,
those
like the
stairs.
stairs in ReZero.
Yeah, I hate those stairs.
Mm-mm-mm.
Those always just give like piss me off. But I growing up there was a house I went to that had those stairs, and those I was just like, why would you? What they're not. It's just whatever. Point is that that's how I'd make it equivalent for Aquina and Candel. But with Candel, the reason why the fog is kind of funky is because the fog didn't kill like thousands of people. They just killed like 100 or so, and she was one of them, right? Didn't it say that it's like 100 people died or something like that?
Yeah.
I was waiting for like thousands of people, corpses laid across the thing. I was like, wait, this isn't even as that bad of a fog when we're really thinking about it.
And again, considering how strong Candel should be, between being Brook's master, the star of Esperia, former leader of like what their military corps, and they kind of insinuated that she has future sight. Sorry, dude. If you're dying to fog, something is odd there. Like that doesn't sound right to me.
Yeah, yeah. And then my biggest thing with the fog, which isn't relevant to this conversation, is like they should have just sailed away. Like they should have just like, hey, let's try leaving the fog and seeing if we could like talk to another nation. Like, hey, we're dealing with corrosive fog, so like, could you help us, or could we like stay here until the fog stays over? Nope, they waited till like 100 or so people. It's kind of like the UK. A lot of people are bringing this up again because we talked about it. The UK heat wave and not having AC, and then
Oh,
like hundreds of thousands of people dying to it.
it's so
No, that's
sad.
not a funny situation. I apologize for laughing. It's just I'm just laughing because people keep bringing it up. We had like an HVAC person in my stream saying that like, "Yo, about to start up a business over there," and
But the
so.
thing is, even if you start up an AC business in Europe and the UK, it might not succeed because a lot of people over there they don't want AC.
Well, it's apparently, so I looked it up a little bit afterwards. It's due to energy restrictions on like residentials, I think it is.
Mm.
So they just don't want like a bunch of I think they think that if everyone were to get it, it would pollute the environment so badly, and whatever. But it's like at a certain point you have to weigh the pollution, how many people are going to die from pollution in like 5-10 years versus how many people are dying that year every year to it, which is an insane number. But yeah, hopefully the UK gets AC.
Hopefully,
So
yeah. Oh yeah, and then another thing too with Kandel. Last thing, and then we'll move on. But the timing
Yeah.
of it all. It looks like the world government only started negotiating about the thousand slave thing after Kandel died.
Which also brings up the whole, is the fog manufactured thing like a real
Yeah.
situation? Because especially this chapter, it feels like yes, but like, was it just because they wanted Esperia out of the world government to then take as Shuri? Which again just goes back to the whole thing. Like, if they really wanted Shuri, they could have just taken her at any point. But like increase their heavenly tribute much earlier. But yeah, they her notoriety also for her eyes came up like when she was 14, which is 3 years prior, no, 2 years prior to this. So it and then her she becomes notable, the fog hits, then Esperia's gone to the shit, and so that's when they strike hot. It's like, it still doesn't make sense timeline wise. 16 years is so long. If anything, Shuri should be asking that question. Like, she should turn around, hey, wait, why did you guys wait 16 years?
Yeah, and maybe here's the cope. Here's the cope. Maybe the reason they're okay with waiting is because they knew that she was with Kandel. Like, oh, like,
Yeah.
we don't need to get Shuri right now. Like, she's with Kandel. Like, Kandel has an eye over it. Like, that's fine. We can just let them do their thing for a while. And then after Kandel went home to Marie Joie, it's like, hey, like, should we get my daughter? She does have these eyes. And he was like, wait, what? She has what? And then, yeah, like, there's ways to make this all kind of flow.
Yeah, that would actually play well into the component of the Kandel being evil idea that I had, which was the whole Shuri knowing the story of Nika and being afraid of it, when we know for Celestial Dragons that's a childhood story. So earlier on, I was saying that, like, at the time, it would make sense if Kandel was the one telling those stories to Shuri, and that being the secret thing that tells us that Kandel was a holy knight or a celestial dragon at minimum that entire time. And is because she was telling Shuri the same childhood stories as the Celestial Dragons, which lines up with what you're saying of, like, they would be okay with it if Kandel was an associate of the world government rather than just some random, right? Like, I saw someone saying that, I don't remember what their reasoning was. They were like, oh, Kandel's CP0. And I'm like, even CP0 would be kind of interesting for that, because they are kind of the guards for the Celestial Dragons. But I don't know if, like, Holy Knights just go around messing with CP0s like that. That'd be kind of interesting, but
That'd be kind of funny.
because then Khalifa's on the docket for sure.
Khalifa, Alpha.
Yeah.
Easy, dude.
Well, Alpha's not high enough rank. She's still CP7 or something.
Yeah, but I just bring her up.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, bring up Alpha, Beta, Omega.
Yeah, you kidding me, dude?
Sisters.
Yeah. Just turning into Overlord. That's their naming scheme too. There's just like the Pleiades maids. Moving on now. Brook survives the headshot, and I've heard theories that the reason he survived is because of the song. People are saying the song is so bad that Shuri just grimaced in pain. Which, grimace in pain, it's kind of like contradictory, but she grimaced in pain, and then she just whiffed the attack. Or people are also saying that maybe deep down the real Shuri is still there, and she just wanted to not kill Brook. Or do you think it's just purely coincidental? What do you think about that?
The real Shuri is a neurosurgeon, and
hey, it's the eyes, man. It's the eyes. People are saying the eyes can see through. Oh yeah, another theory was X-ray vision. People are saying X-ray vision too. I saw that one.
That's such a random thing for, like, okay, so one, that would mean that she awakened it. Two, that just means that Emu wants X-ray vision. Like, is he what in the perv does he want that for?
Oh, I know why. It's because he has the picture of Lily in his room. Quick, Shuri, use your eyes.
I don't think that works on pictures. Unless the painter
don't know that. Emu doesn't know that.
The painter painted Lily naked first, and then layered it just like clothing on top. And so Emu's just been like, well, I wonder what's underneath that first layer of paint or
Hey,
the last
don't
layer
tell
of
Emu
paint.
that's not the case, man. He doesn't know yet.
Yeah.
He's still trying to figure it out.
This yeah, no, I don't know. I think that it's just Damiroverse. This is what would have happened if Brogy and Dory made it to Yarul. It would have been the same thing. Except Yarul already survived one of these. But yeah, it's interesting. It is an interesting situation where he just lives it.
So you
And he
hate
doesn't
the
even have the
idea.
fruit.
You hate the idea that Shuri didn't want to kill Brook.
Oh yeah, hate it. It is terrible.
I
Damiroverse,
love.
disgust. Not even rocks could fight Damiroverse.
There's this one guy, Mr. Nine. He's so funny, dude. He's keeping up this gimmick where every time we get like a Shuri flashback chapter, he's like, "I knew it. Shuri was evil. I fucking called it." I don't know. I see I never respond. Hey, if you're watching this video, I never respond, but I do see your comments. I'm just like, what's going on over here?
Yeah,
That's funny.
It's like, oh, I knew Shuri was gonna kill her dad. Oh man,
What a scumbag! She hated all 16 years of her life. I knew it. Something didn't sit right with me last chapter.
Yeah, ever since Brook told us this would happen, everybody else was so opposed to the idea. But me, I stuck to the story. And it's like, no, we all kind of stuck to the story there, brother. Like,
yeah, it's a good meme. I like it.
Yeah. But yeah, if Rox couldn't defeat Damiroverse himself, I don't think Shuri could.
Well, it's not like defeating Damiroverse. It's just like coming back for a split second, which I mean happened with Dory and Brogy, right? Dory and Brogy, they came back before they were undomified.
They looked at each other and were like, time to take each other out, and then they beheaded each other, right?
Yeah, no, but they were also talking about like Yarl. They're like, oh, how could we say that about Yarl? We must kill each other.
Yeah.
And then even for Rox, while he couldn't control his body, we did see that he was like a backseat passenger there.
Yeah.
Like he was talking to
them. He was
them.
using voice of all things and stuff like that, but he couldn't resist what his body was doing. But the Dory and Brogy situation, you're cooking with that one, because that is a strong example that Damiroverse isn't 100%.
It's like 99%, but not 100.
Yeah. The Dory and Brogy situation was kind of, it felt like the Herald situation. I know that's a mark, but versus the Damiroverse thing. But
some people don't know the difference.
There's something there. Yeah, sooner or later. But yeah, I think the most surprising thing to me, and I'm not saying that this had to happen, but I thought that the Brook's fruit thing would have been relevant to Esperia or King Leuven or something. It would have been an interesting thing to put it here to save him, but he just survives it by shonen manga, feats, and the fruit is just mysteriously perfectly shows up later on in his life, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's always so funny. Like, we spend so much time like thinking about theories, talking about theories, only for theories not to turn out true. Like, I remember the week prior, we were talking about like, oh, like, does Brook get his fruit in this flashback? And then, somebody brought up a really cool idea. They're like, oh, Sai, like the fruit is why they're here. I'm like, wait, that's like pretty good. Like, yeah, revive fruit. They want immortality. Yeah. Like, it makes sense. And I was like, yeah, maybe I believe in this. And then we get to this week's chapter. No fruit, no mention. Boom, we move on. And it's like, damn. But that's just how it is, right? Sometimes you got good theories, which it wasn't even mine. It was, like I said, it was the comment section. And I was like, some things just don't pan out. We got to roll with the punches, man.
Imagine this, too. Imagine if last chapter we had seen Emu on top of Mars like we did this chapter. Then 100% we would be like, oh my God, they're here for some amazing, crazy thing. But it turns out they were here because they wanted to confirm Shuri's eyes. And I guess Emu couldn't
we don't know yet. We're assuming that's the reason, but we don't know.
Right. But like the main thing that was said that kind of confirms it is Grow says like, normally I wouldn't come to a backwater like this just to recover a single measly whelp, just to recover, in both translations kind of fit that they literally came here just for Shuri. There could be other things, that's fair.
I hope
But
there's
like
other
according
things.
to this, it really sounds like it's her eyes that they really want. And Emu so much desires it that it can't trust Mars's word for the eyes. Like, oh yeah, no, she has the eyes, sir. And it's like, all right, I'm coming with you. It's like, you don't have to do that. I have eyes too, sir, great one. It's like, nope, nope, no, I'm coming with you guys. You guys are, I've seen Saturn's work at hand. Remember that ancient giant? Yeah, I remember. Oh
Yeah, no,
gosh.
I agree. Right now it sounds like he did just want to confirm the eyes, but again, deep down, I hope there's something else here. Again, we don't know what happened with
Yeah.
that King Leuven conversation, which Emu and Kings, man, he loves talking to him. So,
Yeah.
like it reminds me of King Cobra. Somebody was like, "Oh, Sai, like, yeah, like Emu's not a big talker. Look what happened with King Cobra." And I went back to the King Cobra thing, and let me tell you, if that chapter came out nowadays, which funny because we did talk about it in a podcast, but if that King Cobra chapter came out again during Elbath, we would be memeing on Emu because Cobra's like, "Hey, who are you? What is the D and Lily and all this other things?" And Emu said, "Yes, I'm not going to answer your question of who am I. That borders on impertinence. But I'll tell you about the D and Lily since you asked." And then literally we have like 2 to 3 pages of Emu just yapping about everything. And yeah, he's kind of vague
Yeah.
posting, he doesn't give us the full details. But Emu, man, he loves talking to kings. So I do think that when we get that Leuven POV, it's gonna be like like an entire chapter of Emu just yapping nonstop.
Yeah. Which we might get through Shuri very soon.
Yes, I think we'll get it through Shuri at the end of Elbath, and same with the Kandel thing. I think by the time we leave Elbath, if Shuri's in our possession, she'll tell us right away if Kandel's alive or not. So it's not a theory
Yeah.
we have to hold
Yeah.
on to for too long, hopefully.
Hmm.
But yeah, some good stuff here, man. So the wound, like you said earlier, it somehow avoided every single one of Brook's vitals. Crazy stuff. And Brook remembers what happened, but it's so traumatizing that he believes that it was just a hallucination. The horns, the wings, they were never there. And I guess one thing to like kind of back this up for Brook is that King Leuven, when we go back to King Leuven's body, he no longer has the wings and horns because he's undomified at that point. But if they were still there, he would know, oh my God, like, yeah, that was all true. But because he was undomied, it's like, oh no, it's just a regular body. So that makes sense. And then, of course, because he's in the West Blue, a measly blue, there's not a lot of Delvers to go around. So he didn't even know those were a thing. He mainly just lived in Esperia Kingdom. So he now turns to his friends who are pretty much crying, right? I mean, Nami's tearing up. Frankie's like bawling out. Usopp, surprisingly, is not tearing up. I feel like he's generally a big crier. But now we get the title drop where it says, hey, can I trust Shuri one more time? Is that fine? And he says he wants to save Shuri and he wants the help of the Straw Hats. Jinbei calls Brook an idiot, saying, do you really need to ask? Let's just do it, brother. And here we go. We have the Straw Hat Pirates versus a block of ice. Do you think they will be successful?
It'd be really odd if they were, to be honest, considering what Loki said. Because it sounds like Loki has tried, and Loki has lightning, you know? So, like, it's interesting that Nami goes, maybe lightning will work on it. And, like, Loki has lightning. So, like, if Loki says only Ragnar can do it, I kind of think that I don't think lightning will work on it. And I don't think that any of them are stronger than Loki. The only person that I think really realistically has a chance is Brook, but it's because of his frozen abilities. Like I thought even before the flashback, I was like wondering, I was like, Brook could probably maybe do it if he like uses Soul King or something like that to on the ice. Maybe the whole ice freezing thing, the reason why Ragnar's things is it works is maybe it's not necessarily just ice. It's like the ice from the realm of dead, which technically I'm not. I forget exactly in Asgardian Norse mythology is that the cold realm is in hell, like Niflheim or whatever is in the
Hey,
hell
hey, hey.
region
The
of.
first person that got hit by Niflheim, by the way, was a skeleton that looked like Brook.
Yeah. So it's like I feel like maybe Brooke has a chance, but I don't know if it makes sense. Like it really depends. I think that Brooke will be able to do it if we get the Shuri flashback. Like I know it's weird to put the contingencies together like that, but if it really makes sense to just continue the flashback with Shuri's explanation immediately. I think that would flow way better than us going into like a fight with like Luffy, Loki, Emu, whatever. And then midway through, they break the ice, and then Shuri tells us some stuff and then goes back into a flashback. I think it makes more sense that she tells us the information that I think we're walking towards, which, like, it sounds funky, but before when we got the Zaza chapter, I remember asking you, I was like, hey, Sai, do you think that we're gonna break up the the Emu fight and we're gonna go into a flashback? I didn't know what flashback, but I postured. I was like, is it possible that we go into Shuri's flashback through, maybe the Straw Hats cross paths with her? I thought it was Sanji at the time, but turns out all the Straw Hats are like right there. So, and the reason why I was saying that was because I was thinking that Shuri might have information about Maki, about Omen, about all the stuff that Emu's using that they can't really like do anything about. But at minimum, if they free her, she probably has the same information that Sommers has, which Sommers knows that like Emu can't be here for too long. So if Shuri tells like the Straw, it's like, hey, you guys just need to stall, or you guys just need to like run and hide behind certain things, and boom, you'll be safe. And I think that's the information we're running to. If Oda continues the flashback or has Brook and has the Strats actually break Shuri free, I'd feel a lot more confident if Lilith was with them, but I don't think Lilith is with them right now.
No.
um I forget where Lilith
I mean,
went,
she
but
should
I
be
think Lilith is.
nearby, but we don't see her.
Yeah, I think Lilith was with Bonnie, but I feel more confident that they would be able to break her out that way. But we also have to keep in mind that Emu on drop sent out a Maki ball, a Maki monster ball at the ice, and it did not break. It didn't even look like it got affected, to be honest. And that's not to say like Emu's weak or anything. It just probably is just, confirmation of stuff,
Yeah, the ice cube is
And we
just that
also.
strong.
Yeah, and it might not even be Emu's like strongest. Like this might not be Emu's strongest considering they showed up bleeding. So, maybe Emu can break Ragnar's ice. It just requires more focus or something like that.
Yeah, no, totally. When it comes to the extreme diff against the ice, again, I do agree. Brook is like their best chance. But outside of that, it's like, I feel like we have to get Ragnar's help, which could bring us to two possible solutions. Maybe we just ask Ragnar nicely. Like, I mean, hey, Ragnar, just undo it. Boom, done. Just snap your finger, it's gone. I feel like for
Mhm.
Ragnar, this should be a very simple thing. But also, people are saying this could be where Usopp and Ragnar finally come together.
That would be funny. In the mid fight, Loki is just like, Ragnar, where are you going? Usopp just holding his hand out, just waiting like Thor from Marvel. And then Ragnar
Yeah.
shows up, and I also wonder how Ragnar breaks the ice. What if it's like super obnoxious and he has to like bite into it, like chomp away?
No, no way.
That'd be
No
kind of
way.
funny if it's just like, okay, give me 10 minutes real quick, and just starts nomming at it.
Oh, my teeth are shaking just thinking about that.
True. Some people like to eat ice though,
No,
like
yeah,
chew it.
that's a big thing. I could never do it though.
Yeah,
My
it's a
teeth are like
little
cold
hard.
sensitive. I need
Mm.
Sensodyne. But when Shuri gets freed, there's a good chance that she might be an enemy for a little while because of the Mark of the Abyss. Again, she has the same tier as King Harold at minimum. So because of that, she could easily get possessed. She could get Domi reversied. We're gonna have to fight her again. And I think it's very
Possibly.
interesting because the lineup we have right in front of us, the lineup that's going to Shuri, it's pretty much the same lineup that Shuri whooped earlier on in the arc. Plus Frankie. Frankie's like the +1 here. But no, like Jinbei,
Mhm.
Nami, Usopp, Brook, like they were the ones who got like knocked out. So kind of
Yeah.
cool that we're getting a rematch in a way if that's the case. If we do get rid of the Mark of the Abyss, how do you think we're going to get rid of it? Who do you think is going to get rid of it?
I have no idea. I always thought that Luffy was the way, but it maybe like we don't necessarily know how the mark works. Like Shanks was able to remove it by a fish biting him, so maybe Jinbei counts. Like I don't know.
Jinbei
I don't know.
chomps on it. But then again, Shanks only had tier 1, so he didn't have regen yet.
Yeah, yeah. At least from what we know, the
Yeah.
regen isn't there, right? Um, yeah. I don't. I honestly, it's funny that tier 1 probably doesn't have the regen, but Damir Versi does. So it's like, dang, that kind of sucks. But
Yeah, it does suck.
um, yeah, I'm not too sure about the whole thing because like the other thing that we do know about the mark is that Emu kind of has to actively give not necessarily has to actively give an order, but like in order to turn Gunko, I think because Gunko already defied Emu's order while Emu was inside of Gunko. So, like, could Gunko defy the orders again? Maybe, but then there also the part where Emu has to be aware to give the orders right now so that Gunko, like,
Like he might be
does a
too
certain
distracted.
thing. Yeah, yeah, with Sommers and whatever, like it might not be that Emu's aware that they need to commandeer Gunko's body, which is interesting because we've now found out how what is desired by Gunko. It's not the hair, it's the eyes, and if Emu's that willing to just give up the eyes, you know what I mean? So you know, we have to see. But I on that note. I think the ice breaks soon, right?
Yeah, I think it breaks soon. I think it has to break soon because
Yeah.
I feel like we're going to have to get the Shuri fight alongside the Sommers Killingham Emu fight. So I think it's going to have
Yeah.
to break sooner than later. And one option that I've seen people saying, and by the way, when it comes to Luffy doing it, I think he's the best candidate, but I don't want him to do it just because I feel like he has no real connection to Gunko. Like, it's not like he's hearing this
Mhm.
backstory. He doesn't know who she is. So I do err towards Brook's music maybe being the answer. But another
Yeah.
answer, granted, it's the same boat as Luffy where they don't really know anything about Gunko. Chopper is right there. Chopper one tap Domi Reversi. So there's a chance that Chopper can
True.
also one tap Mark of the Abyss.
True. True. Chopper's at the village right now, right?
Yes. Well, yeah, he's at the village. Yeah. He's there with Zaza. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But one way or the other, that like, yeah, that's another factor that's just completely because it worked against the Domir Versi. What says it doesn't work in partial against like Mark of the Abyss, and we don't know like to what capacity, So that's all interesting. It could just be that Chopper's a doctor and he's good at tattooing too, so he just tattoos a different mark on it and nullifies it. That'd be kind of wild, but I doubt it. I'm just memeing with that one, but
He hits
yeah.
him with the Cloven Roseo, and there's just like a cherry blossom stamp on him.
Ooh, that's good. I like that. That'd be kind of crazy. He just
I feel like that
he
would
just
hurt.
does this and just stamps them. Yeah, that would be painful. At least if it was pre-time skip chopper. Post time skip chopper,
Yeah, post time skip, he's a different beast. We cut over now to
yeah.
Loki and Emu drops why he's doing what he's doing, why he's kidnapping kids. It's so funny. Loki's just trying to shit talk. You guys are fighting dirty. Emu says, Yo, do you want to know why? I'll teach you. 800 years ago, this exact same thing happened. You guys suffered a defeat in order to save your children. What do you mean 800 years ago? The nature of a race does not change in mere centuries. Simply abduct the children, and I can control thee at will. Thou might not know what is happening to thee, but history repeats regardless. It is already too late. You guys are already my slaves. And then that's when Luffy shows up, and he smacks Emu square in the face, kind of like St. Charlos. And it's a pretty good sequence. What do you think about it?
Yeah, I mean, It's interesting with Emu saying what they did. It kind of makes it sound like Emu's not of the same race, like, or any connecting to the like connection to humanity. The way they're speaking about it, it's not strongly like I can't say like, oh, like they're from another world because they said this, but it's just the way, the off nature that they're talking about it. But it does kind of contrast with like uh with the Brook flashback, because Shuri is the offspring of the Celestial Dragon and they went to war to literally get her. And it's like, wait, aren't you guys the same then? Celestial Dragons do the same thing, simply abduct thy children, I control thee at will. And it's like, well, like you guys did so much for Shuri, so kind of sounds similar. But at the same time, 16 years later, it's like maybe it didn't really matter. Like the offsprings, like maybe for Celestial Dragons, they actually are different. I don't know, but that was kind of where I was originally. I was like, huh, that's a little interesting that like it's being said like this. But other than that, history repeating itself. I mean, we see the punch that repeats the Saba Odi situation. It's pretty interesting. It's nice. It's cool. Luffy not being transformed or anything and just straight smacking Emu. And Emu looks like they take damage, right? So it doesn't look like Emu got their block in, because I feel like when Thunderheim or whatever it's called, Emu did the hand sign and like there was a barrier around Emu. This time there's no barrier and couldn't protect the Maki. So is it like you just need to surprise speed blitz them, kind of like a Nell? Is that what you got to do to win? I'm not sure. Um, but yeah, the like this scenario, like all of this just feels interesting because like is Luffy gonna win? Feels odd because it doesn't feel like it. This is the time for Luffy to win or the Straw Hats to particularly like just overwhelming. Beating Emu would be an overwhelming win. I don't think an overwhelming win makes sense. I think everybody to a certain notion was thinking that like, oh, Emu's time's out. Like Emu, like their time spent on Elbaf exceeded whatever they're allotted and they have to go back. But this spells a different future, I guess. But I don't think it changes it too much. I feel like Emu just bounces back,
Yeah.
ironically, and handles Luffy. I don't know about like handles Luffy like better than the Gorosei, but it kind of has to be, right? Like it can't be Luffy just bouncing around making fun of the Gorosei, then turning them into like pancakes or pizzas and tossing them. I don't think that happens to Emu, but um, it'll be interesting to see what Emu does after this.
Yeah, I don't think this necessarily makes Emu look bad. Should he have dodged? 100%. But I'm not like counting this against Emu too much. You know, this is One Piece, so, you know, villains will get tapped like this at the very beginning. Oda loves Luffy, man. You know, he definitely
Yeah.
loves Luffy more than he loves Emu, so that's just how it is. And again, it's like you said, I don't know if he's really taking damage. Like, if he's taking damage, like, next chapter he's on his knees, that'll look awful, but I do expect him to just bounce back, look really good. And, you know, you mentioned the Loki Thunderheim attack. And yeah, you know, he blocked that one. But before that, he was smacked to the tree and he was bleeding after that too. And that was because he was
Mhm.
talking. And here it's kind of the same
Yeah.
thing. He's talking. So, like, Emu, he's just lost in thought, man. He's just lost in thought. It happens.
What if that's the way to beat Emu? Just get them to yap and then they forget to defend themselves. That's how the two hits happen so far. Loki, like Emu turned to say scream Joy Boy, and then Loki's like, you're distracted, and then gets them. Emu got hit the second time. It's kind of the same way.
Yeah, exactly the same, man. So
Yeah.
that is pretty much the end of this week's chapter. Par, what are you looking forward to next week? What are you excited
Honestly,
for?
Shuri. I think if we get Shuri next chapter, that'll be interesting. I just don't know. Like this chapter, I was predicting the flashback ends, and someone even I threw up a poll too, and then people were like, "Do you really think it could happen in less than a chapter? Why is that an option?" And I was saying that if the flashback is a means to Shuri and explaining like should Brook like treat Shuri like an ally or an enemy, then yeah, I think it would end this chapter, which it did. But now the question mark is like, if that flashback was that important, then the next connecting dot is the Shuri situation. I really want to see if Shuri comes up. Otherwise, it's just a fighting chapter then. It's just Luffy versus Emu and I guess dialogue. So I don't really know what would come out of the dialogue because it's a weird like it's Luffy doesn't care. Luffy barely listens. And Luffy's not the type to ask questions like Loki is, right? Like Loki is more of a logical character outright. And so him asking, "What do you mean 800 years ago?" or "Why are you going after the kids?" Like Luffy's the type to do the yapping a little bit, like you're stealing the food away you're starving the kids or something like that, right? But yeah, as far as like what comes next chapter, I feel like I want to see Shuri, but I feel like it's mostly dialogue from Emu talking about like Joy Boy or something. Because this is what Emu kind of wanted. Emu turned around the first time and got hit, screaming Joy Boy's name, trying to get like Luffy out, it feels like. And now that Luffy's here, this is the first time that they're like seeing eye to eye. So this is like Naruto and Sasuke, like Hashirama Madara, like reuniting. You know what I mean? Or what? I forgot the actual reincarnations.
Ashura Indra.
Yeah, Ashra Indra. Yeah, that's an Ashra Indra situation where now they're finally the next in lines are seeing each other, and so it's time for them to I guess trade blows. And I don't know. Maybe it's gonna be something that makes Emu happy. You know, seeing Joy Boy again. That would be kind of interesting. Maybe Emu tells Luffy about Joy Boy. What if we get a Joy Boy flashback randomly?
We could. Yeah, we could get like a Void
Yeah.
Sentry snippet. I mean, like I said, Emu likes to talk, man. The chance isn't zero. It's not zero.
Yeah, like Emu hits us with the this takes me back, and then the manga fades to black, and then at the end of that flashback, Luffy just goes, "Well, I'm not him, you idiot," and then punches him again. And then Emu's like, "God damn it, I miss Joy Boy." Or nah, I doubt he'll ever say that, but something along the lines of being like remembering
The good old days.
the past, yeah, the good old days, the golden era.
No, I could definitely see that. If we do hit another flashback, I think it's gonna be very short, like just probably half a chapter, like a couple pages. But yeah, I feel like the general like run of events is that we're gonna follow Luffy and Loki against Emu for a while, and then we're probably just gonna go to the Zoro Sanji Shuri fight because he likes to
Yeah.
wrap those up before he wraps up the big finale.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I don't even know if if like the hypothetical flashback from Shuri would even need to be a flashback. It could even be a present day explanation thing, kind of like what Saturn did with
Yeah,
Ginny, where he was just explaining this situation with Ginny, like the whole experiment and the wife thingy, and then the extract of the devil fruit, what powers Ginny gets. Like it could be kind of like that. Otherwise, if we do get more flashbacks, now I think then it'll be official that Elbaf is the land of flashbacks, like for sure. I don't know if other arcs have had more flashbacks, but I think this is what Louis Arnault was warning us about staying too long.
yeah. You
Otherwise, you
stay
get
too
lost in
long, you start
flashbacks.
getting more and more flashbacks.
Yeah, yeah. It's hey, Void Century, all that stuff is going to be a flashback. I'm not going to say I hate One Piece flashbacks, but what I hate, what not hate, but what really bogged down this flashback wasn't the flashback. It was the breaks. And so I just pray that we don't do that again. That was
Yeah,
brutal, bro. That
yeah.
was brutal.
I like the flashback. It's mainly just, dude, the crazy amount of breaks we had in between. Whew, that was definitely
Yeah, the
something.
timing was crazy. That was like a Void Century.
Yeah, I think that's. I mean, unironically, I think that did sour a lot of people's like perception of the flashback and how they received it. It's just like, yeah,
Yeah.
no, it wasn't bad. It was just, man, like really, like we're going to like the low end of like the Brook flashback, and now like every single week in between, just giant break.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
funny.
I still remember when people thought the Brook flashback when we first got it, people were saying like 6 chapters of flashback. I was like, that's 2 to 3 months, guys. Like that's crazy. And a lot of people voted for that. So I was like more on the line of like 2 to 3, and that's kind of what we got. But still surprised, still surprised. And it was relatively quick. Like the flashback, when you if you were to put it all together, like if you were to reread it, it's pretty quick. Again, it was just the breaks, the getting it out, but yeah, hopefully well the other thing about Elbaf that's crazy is that Elbaf, like the Jump Festa message was that Elbaf ends in like a big flashy end, and then the Straw Hats go to the next island, the one that the Pirate King has only been to before, which is most likely Lodestar. And there we meet the man marked by flames. And so someone was bringing that up, and they were like, "Oh, I think Elbaf ends in December." I was like, "Technically, like, I don't think it can. Like, I think it has to end earlier, because if we're going to another island and we meet the man marked by flames in 2026, and I think this is also like the most specific Oda has ever been with those Jump Festa message. He literally said the man marked by flames, and he direct quoted Roger when talking about Lodestar being the next island. And so, like, if that were all to take place, I would say Elbaf ends like around October-ish, maybe. So right now we're in June, going into July. We have July, August, September, October. We have about 9 more chapters. So like we don't have that much time left, to be fair. This Brook flashback took 3 chapters, and so there's not a lot to. And obviously, my estimations could be off. We could end in November or something like that, but it still would be crazy to us in 1-2 months jump straight to Lodestar and get Man Marked by Flames. I would give it another 9 chapters or something. But hey, the predictions, might have gotten some of these right in the Brook flashback, could get them wrong later on, but it spells a very, very quick end for what we're about to see with all this. We might not even get an elongated Zoro Summers fight. It might be a quick defeat one way or the other. Like it's kind of wild to think about. The way that makes most sense is Summers and Killingham wins and the Straw Hats like lose. That's how you'd end things quickly, I feel like. But if they were to win, how could they win quickly? Like that's kind of like, I don't think that they can win quickly. But the only thing that we don't know about concretely is Emu's like timeline. So I hopefully we figure that out soon. Hopefully figure the timeline.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we could end Elbaf in 10, 12-ish chapters, which is, again, still a lot. But,
Yeah,
when it
that
comes to
puts us October,
Zoro,
November.
Sanji, all those fights, they only really need just like one really good chapter. Just one chapter stuck on them, and then boom, we're out.
Yeah, it's not Kagurabachi with the fights. We're in Clash Piece, right?
Yeah, we're in mainly like Clash Piece, like 2 named attacks, and you're kind of done. Yeah, Kagurabachi, dude, that's good pull.
Yeah,
Miss Kagurabachi.
We wait for the anime where the fights get so goddamn good in One Piece.
I'm currently rereading Kagurabachi right now. I'm chapter 45.
Oh wow, that's 20 chapters in 2 days.
Yeah, I couldn't help myself, dude. I couldn't help myself.
Yeah, that makes sense. I was at a wedding, so I couldn't get much read. Actually, I could have been reading, but want to give that love that it needs.
Yeah,
which I'm sure you've been giving it. You already were good at Kagurabachi. I need to get better.
I'm just trying to enhance it. But with that being said, though, guys, we're gonna go and call it here. Let us know your thoughts on this chapter down below, and we'll catch you guys next week because, hey, no break.
No break.
So we'll be back sooner than
feels
later.
Good.
Peace out, guys.
Yep. Peace.